Good evening, everyone. It is time to punch in for the Steelers Night Shift. I'm your host, Joe Morrison, and I am joined today, once again, by our esteemed editor. Don't call him Chief, Alan Saunders. Alan, how are you this week, sir?
I'm doing good, Joe. How's things with you?
Yeah, it's going well down here in old South Georgia. Just rocking and rolling. I imagine if you're anything like us fans, because we know, that's you look at things through an expert lens, but I'm definitely feeling a little not surprised by Thursday night's results, historically speaking, but still disappointing. Just knowing that your offense put up 31 points and then your defense allows more than that. So definitely a little disappointed by that, but it is time for a new week as we head to a new matchup. The Green Bay Packers are coming to town, and I can't think of big stories. Nothing too big going on there, I don't think. Oh, yeah. Aaron Rodgers taking on his former team that he was a starter for the full 18 years, but with them for 18 seasons. I know he's been downplaying it, but Alan, you think he's kind of bluffing with the downplaying, or do you really think, like you said, time heals all wounds?
I don't even know that there was that much of a wound. I don't really think he's bluffing. I think he feels very good about his time in Green Bay, obviously. And I don't think he was upset that they decided to go with Jordan Love. I mean, you remember he was in that situation. He was there behind Favre waiting for his turn. He talked about this today. And, waiting, biding his time, gets an opportunity. Favre gets hurt, shows what he can do the next year. Favre's out, he's in. I think Rodgers, 2 MVP seasons, but then he gets hurt. Love gets an opportunity, and he sees the writing on the wall, and he says, "You know what? Okay, I get it. I can't really complain about this process that worked so well for me." And I think he obviously wishes he hadn't gone to New York and that had gone differently. But I don't get the sense that he's upset about the Packers at all. I think he talks very fondly about his time there. So I'm definitely buying that this is not any kind of a revenge game. Obviously, it's a game that's really important to him. That means a lot. But I don't get the sense there's any negative feelings there.
No, absolutely. So would you say it was more of a, instead of a messy divorce, it's you go through a clean breakup with your girlfriend saying, hey, look, we're just not clicking anymore. I think we're better off moving on. But even then, you still want to show your ex-girlfriend, you might be missing out a little bit.
Well, as he said, he's maintained a relationship with Jordan Love and was actually just texting him last week. So apparently they are co-parenting just fine. They've found a way, they couldn't stay together, but they've found a way to raise their kid together, I guess.
There you go. Well, he passed on ownership of the Chicago Bears on to Jordan Love, I remember him saying. So I imagine they talk about that from time to time. But no, it's going to be an interesting thing. I mean, I definitely don't get the vibes like when Tom Brady went to Foxborough a few years ago, and how played up that was, because it was very obvious that Tom Brady could still play, and Bill Belichick simply didn't want him anymore. And so yeah, definitely don't get the sense it's like quite that much animosity, or I guess not that much of hard feelings like you say. So, but no, I think it'll be a good game, and it'll definitely be a headline throughout the week. So with that being said, we do have some questions kind of ahead of the game, and as we go forward as well. Michael on Twitter asks, he says, good morning, or good evening rather. I get my times mixed up. Good evening, gentlemen. With the Steelers spending a lot of money on defense and mixed results at best, my question is, with the offense coming around and the running game finally getting some juice, why not make a big splash at wide receiver if it presents itself? And will they?
They won't. I am somewhat skeptical of it presenting itself. I don't know what's out there that you would call a big splash. Maybe Jalen Waddle. I don't think he'll be traded. Chris Olave. I mean, I think they would be interested in him, but I think it's a really difficult player to gauge a value on because of his concussion history. And then the Saints are probably picking a quarterback in the first round. Why did they like? They're not going to be motivated sellers. Um, so I don't see big splash out there. I do think that we'll add a wide receiver. And then the other, of course, the flip side of this is like even if even if Olave was out there, like Omar Khan's not going to trade a second round pick for him. He needs that. A third, maybe, like they do have 3 of them. But like that's about the max I could see them parting with, and even then, I don't know if they would be willing to do that unless it was a whole lot of value coming back. I think a minor move, something more like last year when they added Mike Williams, is probably what's more in store. Olave's teammate Rashid Shaheed is someone that's been talked about. Jacoby Myers has been brought up. Alan Lazard, of course. I think there's probably like another half a dozen of those guys of that ilk out there that could be available between now and the trade deadline. But I don't see a big move coming. And the big move I don't see coming because what about this team tells you it's ready for that investment? Like what? Like you start trading away future draft picks for win now players when you're on the cusp of winning something great. They just got blown out by Joe Flacco on defense. I don't see how they could think that right now.
No, I agree with that. And I will say, last week, I mean, Roman Wilson had a pretty good game and almost kind of makes you think if he can kind of get some traction going with Calvin Austin coming back to health. I mean, if they can get those 2 clicking alongside DK Metcalf, maybe not in a 11 personnel, but just if they rotate them through and they can get some good production out of them, even just something, you know, tier 3 of a wide receiver 2 production. I don't really think they'll be as urgent to do so. Michael did kind of follow that up, and his thoughts were because of the defense and how things have not, well, quite frankly, things have not gone well to this point. You might have to get into a shootout with the Chiefs or Buffalo. And to that, I say, if you're getting to a shootout with Buffalo or Kansas City, you're already not playing the type of football that Mike Tomlin wants to play. And I just don't think he's interested in trying to be in that position.
I don't care if he's interested in it or not. He doesn't have the horses to win one. Those guys got Mahomes and Allen. He's got a 41-year-old. Not going to win that fight. You can't win that way. So
no, 100%. And Scott, while we're kind of talking about defense a little bit, he had a very interesting. Instead of trading for a wide receiver, maybe getting some defensive help. He asks, "Do you guys think that we are going to make a move for cornerback or safety at the trade deadline?" And my instinct says no, but crazier things have happened. So I won't say without a shadow of a doubt no, but I just don't think it's likely. I would not bet my rent on it.
I would say almost definitely not cornerback. I could see them maybe adjusting the workflow between Brandon Echols and Darius Slay. I think that's on the table. Safety, I do think, is different. It's pretty clear for whatever reason they just don't trust Juan Thornhill all that much. I think he's played well when he's been out there, so I'm not quite sure I get it. But I mean, Chuck Clark doesn't feel like a guy I want like doing a lot of coverage. He certainly tackles well and comes up and plays the run and tackles the catch in cover 3 and things like that. But like I don't know, he's not really a coverage specialist. Jabril Peppers has never really been a space player. Somebody that really could be like you just play him every down free safety would be interesting to me. I just don't know who has one of those that doesn't want it anymore. I haven't. That's not a position that I'm really familiar with what might be out there, and honestly, I don't feel like they get traded all that often. So I don't know. It's possible, but I wouldn't think it's very likely.
Absolutely. And Steeler fans, I will go ahead and just remind that even though reports today said Minkah Fitzpatrick could be available for trade, the Steelers cannot trade for him. They would have to wait 2 years. Plus, I think the only way they could acquire him is if he was cut. I saw a few folks saying, "Hey, let's bring him back," but it's just It doesn't work that way. Can't
And he
trade back like
has
trade
a
away.
whole other year on his contract, so
Yep.
cutting him would dump about a $16 million dead cap hit on the Dolphins' already stressed salary cap situation. I can't see that happening.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, now we have some live questions and feedback. Our very own Omar Khan artist. He says, very happy to see Dante Jackson having success out in Los Angeles. Statistically, looks like he's having an excellent year. And on an unrelated note, can we announce Alan Lazard already? You mentioned his name. I don't know, Mr. Khan. Aren't you supposed to be telling us that this is happening? But no, I think Dante Jackson, if there's one thing he was very good at, and I think fit well in with Pittsburgh, is getting those turnovers. I think he had 5 picks last year, and once he started kind of having some health issues, then it became a little bit rough for him in coverage, especially. But no, I mean I always like to see guys if they depart have good seasons for the most part, and I felt like he was a serviceable corner opposite of Joey Porter Jr. But I understand why Pittsburgh moved on. As for Alan Lazard, I mean, I think if there's any name out there, he would be one of the more realistic trade options.
I mean, I don't think he moves the needle for me really, but they should be able to get him for almost nothing. The Jets are barely using him. The Jets also have bad receivers, so that should tell you a thing or two. Then again, it's the Jets. I mean, they've proven to us over and over again they're capable of screwing a lot of things up. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It would not get me excited. Dante Jackson was great here until he got hurt. Had the back injury, tried to play through it, didn't go very well down the stretch. Had a lot of interceptions. It's a good zone corner. If you want to play zone, I think he's a good fit. Steelers clearly do not want to, but now they're going to have to because they tried to play man and couldn't. So I'm not sure they ended up winning that exchange, although we all thought they did this offseason. But we'll see how they're able to take that beating and maybe come up with a better way forward. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, absolutely. And I will say the only benefit for Lazard joining the Steelers is simply because he's played with Aaron Rodgers before, and that's if they can get that spark going. I mean, I don't know. There were times when Devontae Adams went to Jets last year, you saw kind of the chemistry still spark, but for the most part, I mean, it just wasn't as strong as it was in Green Bay per se. And also, I will say with the Jets, even though they were going to bench Fields, it looks like he's still going to play because their backup is hurt. So between that and the comments made by Woody Johnson, I think you summed it up well, Alan. It's the Jets.
JETS, just end the season. That's the one.
There we go. All right, and then we have Hayden Bishop. He asked about Zach Frazier. He says, is Zach Frazier having a sophomore slump or was it a freshman fluke? Not necessarily been bad, just a little disappointing in his opinion. I don't feel like Frazier's been a sore spot. I mean, there were some things in the preseason with snapping that kind of was like, oh, okay. But I feel like he still had a pretty solid year. I think he's still going to continue to get better. And I mean, if someone does feel like he took a step back, I mean, one thing I like to always point out from rookie year to second year, NFL teams have a full 17 games of film on you now. So if they see something that you just don't do well or don't handle well, they're going to probably throw that at you until you learn to adjust. So if it's something like that, he'll probably just have to continue to work through that and address it.
Yeah, I think Frazier's been fine. I don't have any problem with his game. Banged up right now, a little bit of a calf injury. Was limited in practice today. We'll see. I expect him to be able to play in some capacity, but we'll see if he's at all limited on Sunday. But I mean, I think he's been very good this year. I think the one thing that I would like to see them do a little bit more is find someone. He has really unique athleticism, really across the line. They don't have a slow lineman. I guess Sayamalu is probably the slowest, but I would not call him slow. I'd like to find a way to get him in space a little bit more, honestly. But it's kind of more of a nitpick of the offense than it is anything about him. I think he's been really good.
No, I agree. Maybe they could do some of the old Todd Haley, Marquise Pouncey pulls that they used to do way back when.
Canada had a screen where the center was the lead block, and I remember in 2021 they ran it, and it must have been OTAs or maybe it was like late in training camp, something like that. And Kendrick Green outran Najee Harris down the field. And I was like, well, either the Steelers have the fastest offensive lineman in the history of the world, or they have a slow running back. I guess we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I remember like that first game against Buffalo, he was downfield and he whiffed on a block. But
yeah, he didn't block anybody down there. He just ran down. I mean, yeah.
That's where the what does they say? The analytics versus the film come into play. The analytics and measurables, he's athletic, but on film, maybe he wasn't. Maybe it wasn't the best third round choice. So I don't know.
Not maybe.
For sure. All right, good deal. Schoolhouse Rocks. While we're kind of talking about injuries a little bit that you mentioned there, he asked this: could Corey Trice be getting taken off of IR soon?
I think he's healthy enough to come off. Honestly, if he's not, he's very close. I don't know where you put him. I mean, I think they got to figure some things out at corner, but I don't see a spot for him right now. So it's just probably a waiting game. They do have an open roster spot, but I assume that's going to get taken by Will Howard, who is coming off the IR, return to practice today. Look good. But I mean, yeah, other than that spot, I mean, I don't know where you got four corners, and it's like the problem is the guys at the bottom, Eccles and Pierre, have done the most to justify their continued exit. Pierre's been great every time he's been called upon, playing really well on special teams, where you just lost Miles Killebrew, and you definitely want another veteran guy in there who can, play a number of different roles if things get mixed up on game day and things of that nature. And Eccles, I mean, I think Eccles should be talked about as maybe a starter here. Are you going to carry five corners around? Okay, maybe, but then where do you shorthand yourself? Otherwise, I don't know. I think Corey Trice is an NFL player. I just don't see him being an answer for this team right at this moment.
No, absolutely. He was dealing with a hamstring injury. Is that correct?
Yeah, hamstring. I mean, it was pretty minor, and it was before week 1. So I mean, I feel like he's probably been pretty close.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the only way I could see him maybe getting accelerated is if they just decided, hey, Jalen, we think you're better at safety than you are.
Yeah, maybe that's the answer. Leave Jalen's, then you don't have to, you get rid of this Thornhill, Clark, Peppers, flip a coin, nobody knows who's out there thing. You just stick Ramsey at safety and you leave him there. You're going to play Eccles, and then you bring Trice in as the third corner, or fourth corner at that point. I guess that could work. They have a lot of talent at cornerback. They're just not playing very well. It's two different things. I don't really know. I don't know if the older guys are just done. I don't know what the problem is, but they've got to figure it out. And I think it's hard to see how Trice right this moment is a part of figuring it out.
Absolutely. And I will just say one thing on Trice is he was tasked on the last game of the regular season to take on Ja'Marr Chase early in the game. And obviously Ja'Marr Chase did Ja'Marr Chase things, but I felt like for the most part, he stood his own. He was serviceable, but I don't know if, like you said, I don't know if he is necessarily going to be the answer right now. Still very intriguing guy. I mean, very long, definitely a press corner type. So we shall see.
I really like him. I hope it works out. I don't know how it happens right now.
Absolutely. And Ryan, he brings up a star of the Thursday night football after some weeks where he was we we were all kind of asking, where is he? So Ryan says, what do you guys think about the play of Pat Fryer versus the Bengals? And he had a good game. Here we go, Steelers. No, I think that was definitely the game Pat needed to get things going. And I mean, he made two really good catches right there in the red zone. Rodgers threw a fantastic football, and they got him involved in some screen game. I think they got to see some versatility there, and then he caught that go ahead touchdown, and that was just a good scramble drill from what you saw. And I think if they got him going, and they've got Darnell Washington going and Johnny Smith. I mean, all three of them scored, so I guess all three of them got going on Thursday night. I think it will benefit this team to expose that mismatch, because then if you want to put corners in and go nickel, well, then you have a little bit less beef to run against, so you can start running the ball. But if you keep them in base, then you're creating coverage mismatches. So I think his play helps them take a step forward.
Cincinnati, man, he just kills them. He kills them every time he plays them. I don't know what it is, but it was clear he was part of the game plan right away. Like you said, running some of those, what do you really call it, a now route or a zero screen or whatever, where you just kind of turn and there's the ball. And he was getting easy yards doing that. And then they kind of worked him free down the field as well. I always knew this was coming. They're going to use all those tight ends. They're all going to have their day. They're also all going to have their day where they don't get used that much. People are going to go, where was this guy? It's like, well, when you got four of them, I'll throw Connor Hayward into that mix too. He had a touchdown go off his hands. Ran a nice route. Probably needed to catch that one. They're all capable. And Spencer Anderson has been blocking really well as an extra tight end. When you got that many, you guys, there's going to have to be days where guys take their turn.
Absolutely. And I saw Spencer Anderson run a route on Thursday night.
I was joking with Spence today about him catching a pass. And of course, I don't want to put him in the position of asking him what's in there for him, because, they haven't shown it yet. But I told him, I was like, I need to see on the jugs machine. Like, I got to see you over there putting the work in to prove to me that you really want it. And then I'll start really agitating for it. I think, but look, I know Arthur Smith has had the thought. I mean, just, is there anything that could be more Arthur Smith than a touchdown to an offensive lineman? Like, I know he wants it. We'll see if it happens.
Absolutely. Maybe he'll do what Zach Banner could not do, and that was be the eligible man who gets that catch, maybe even a touchdown. I think they did try that the following year with oh man, what's his name? Not Dotson, but there's another. He was either first or second year guy that they tried it against the Washington back in their football team, but they tried it. And I remember Banner was on IR, and he had tweeted out and was like, "Oh, so now they want to try that." maybe they'll give that a shot. Who knows? All right, Hayden is got himself a very interesting one that. Earlier today, there were reports he asked, could you see Rodgers coming back next season and the Steelers putting off drafting a quarterback one more year? Alan, I'll let you take a stab at this first, since you wrote about it.
Yeah, no, I don't think they will put off drafting a quarterback one more year. I do think they will want a starter to play in front of whoever they draft, and I do think they would be very happy with that being Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if that's what he wants, but I think they'd be very happy with that situation. Yeah. But no, I don't think they're going to put off drafting a quarterback. It's everything is too aligned for it to happen for me to think they're going to get away from that, unless there just isn't a move to be made to trade up, or there isn't a guy that they like. I mean, they can't control the draft board, but I think they're going to go into the draft with the intention of drafting a quarterback for sure.
No, I agree. I don't know if they can't trade up with all those assets, and plus you also got to think 2027 assets as well. If they can't trade up, depending on where they are on the board, maybe they would decide to trade back and try to get some more picks and maybe pick someone a little bit later. I don't think they'll delay getting a quarterback either, but I mean, that is a curious situation. If all their top guys are gone, what do they do? I don't know, but Rodgers coming back one more year. See, it's interesting. He said on Pat McAfee's show he's taking everything just this year, 1 year at a time. But then there's some sound bites that uh, we actually, I believe, have on our site where he kind of said, "Yeah, well, I'm not gonna say that this is it." He kind of keeps that door just a little bit open, doesn't slam it shut. So I don't know. I think that'd be a very, very intriguing situation, and I think the door is open for sure. Especially, yeah, you have to imagine Steelers, based off what they've seen so far, are going to want that. Good deal. And so we don't have any. We're caught up on our questions right now. So, oh, here we go. We got TD Tom. He says, "How far do you think they could move up in the draft if we make the playoffs?" Um, let's say they make it to the divisional round. That puts them in the late 20s. For reference, to trade up from 27 to 10, like the Chiefs and Bills did in 2017, it cost the Chiefs that year's first round pick, the following year's next round pick, the following year's third round pick, and then that year's second round pick. And I think they swapped some late round picks. So it really just depends on how far up they want to go. But if they want to get into the top 15 and they're in the mid 20s, it's probably going to cost them a pretty penny.
So I think they can get to 10 from there. Buffalo started at 21 in 2018. They traded Cordy Glenn 21 and I want to say like a fifth or a sixth, something like that. And I think they got a seventh back or something like that. Whatever. That doesn't matter. And then they traded up from, and that got them to 12. And then they traded up from 12 to 7 with, I want to say, 2/3. So like that's, I mean, so like to put that trade into like Steelers equivalency, that's like their two extra third round picks, Alex Highsmith, and you probably got to throw one more piece in there because you're going a little bit farther. They're second. So you say a second Alex Highsmith and 2/3 to get from 26 to 10. I think you're probably in the ballpark. Maybe you'd make it the 27 second at that point.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, regardless, it's going to cost assets. I mean, especially because teams are know that Pittsburgh's going to come up for a specific position. I mean, it's going to be, the NFL's least kept secret. So I imagine you're probably going to see some teams try to take advantage of the con artist a little bit. But I don't think he's going to let them rake him over the coals too much. So, and now keep in mind 27. For those listening, that's probably your divisional rounds. If you go and if things go really well and they go to the AFC title game, then you're looking at 29, 30, and things get even more costly in that regard. But right now we're caught up on questions. So, folks, I am going to throw one quick fact at you. Since 1970, the Green Bay Packers are 1-6 in Pittsburgh. Alan, do you know the last quarterback to win in Pittsburgh?
Bart Starr.
Bart Starr. Yes, sir. Ding, 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 ding. The Hall of Famer. I think it's really interesting. Brett Favre played there, couldn't get it done. Aaron Rodgers played there 2 times, actually, as a opposition, couldn't get it done. But Bart Starr, he won the Steel City. And I think, yeah, I don't know. Y'all know me. I am someone who is superstitious. I believe in curses, and sometimes things just trend. So it makes me feel a little optimistic about Sunday, to say the least. And Hayden has a question, kind of circling back to quarterbacks. How many quarterbacks do you think are worthy of being drafted next year's first round? I'm not going to lie. I'm not. I don't know. When it comes to grading, I'm very tough grader because, in my opinion, there's only 15 true first round picks in every draft. Sometimes less. So I
Well,
don't
but
think it's many.
on the other hand, if you have a true grade on a quarterback above about 75, he's going to be taken in the first round. Like
No. Well,
that's just the reality of this, the position, the value of that specific fifth year option means guys get reached for in the late 20s and 30s all the time. I think there are probably 8 or 9 guys. That might be a
now,
little high. 7 or 8 guys that I think you would not be crazy to take in the first round right now.
now, when you say that, are you saying like true first round grade? Or are you thinking like with that factor of because
That,
it's a
like, those
quarterback?
are the first and second round grades that'll all be
Okay,
drafted in the first round.
gotcha. Yeah, I can see.
I mean, I had a third round grade on Jackson Dart last year. I had a third round grade on Michael Penix the year before. Like,
Right.
most of the people I think are day 2 picks are going to get taken in the first round.
No, 100%. I mean, that's about where I was a little um, lower on Michael Penix personally, but no, you're absolutely right that folks are definitely gonna if they can hit a home run there, they're gonna do it. It's like Cam Ward though. Like I knew he was talented, but I had like a second round outlook on him. Like I just felt like you know, he was definitely very talented, but he was going to need some time to develop. And unfortunately, you're kind of seeing that play out in Tennessee right now. But it's also a really rough situation out there in Tennessee.
Yeah, he's also probably the kind of guy that did not need to play right away, and
Right.
I don't think that really helped him much. I do like this class though. I mean, I think people are talking about it like it's bad, and I don't get it. I think it's really good. Love Mendoza, I love Dante Moore, I like Sellers, I really like Ty Simpson. I think Nussmeier has a really high floor. I've been intrigued by John Mateer. Um, Carson Beck's there, Sam Levitt's
Sam Levitt.
there.
Yep.
And then you still have guys who have like not played well but have a ton of talent, like Cade Klubnik and Drew Aller, Carson Beck. I think this is a really good quarterback class, and yeah, I'm undeterred by, maybe it's not the names we expected to be at the top of the board, but
Right.
and when I look at what Mendoza's doing, like, okay, let me just say this. I think Cam Ward would be like 4th or 5th in this class for me. 4th probably
Okay.
right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's better. Maybe you could have him ahead of Simpson. I don't think he's better than Mendoza, Moore, or Sellers.
No, I agree. And I'm curious to see what Sellers does too, because he's kind of had it hasn't been the season he's been hoped for him, but his offensive line's also been getting him killed. Like I think he's been injured twice because of them, and at South Carolina just not having a great year in general. So I'm curious to see if he goes back one more year, if he declares. But no, Mendoza, Moore especially has been a very pleasant surprise. And
Yeah, he
what
barely
a
played before this year. Played a little bit as a freshman at UCLA. Might have played like 1 game last year, I think. Not much. So he's kind of come out of nowhere. He's been really good. Simpson's been really good. There are a lot of underclassmen there, so there is a lot of like, will they be out or won't they be out? I don't know. That's definitely an issue there that we'll have to figure out between now and the draft. I even think like the borderline guys, like who are probably not in the top 75, Jaden Maivia, Darian Mensah, Aiden Childs, Trinidad Chambliss, Sawyer Robertson. Like, I'm intrigued in most of those guys too. I think it's a really good deep quarterback class. It's actually just looking today at the dates, and they've now split up the dates so that I will be able to, assuming the Steelers aren't in the AFC Championship game, cover both the Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowl. So I'll get to see about 16, 17, 18 of these guys in the pre-draft process. So I'm pretty fired up about that.
Absolutely. If you are down for the Senior Bowl, I'm gonna have to come down there and meet up with you guys because I usually go down there for Mardi Gras because that's about the time my birthday is. So
There you go.
we'll have to do that, man. And on a closing thought, just to kind of wrap things up with quarterbacks, and we're about to punch out here in a second. I will say I appreciate that you shouted out Chambliss because after Bet kind of let me down Friday night,
You
I'm
picked up the old Miss flag, and you're going to run with that one instead.
yeah, Chambliss. I'm just gonna say I'm interested too. I was very surprised to see how well he performed going into Sanford Stadium. And if you're not familiar with that stadium, it's Georgia football, and those people are wild. I attended one game, and I will never go back because I hated grown men in my face barking. That's it, though. It's a great environment. It's hostile. Like you gotta love it. That's peak college football. So, with that being said, folks, it's time for us to punch out. We appreciate you guys punching in with us and doing some work. Don't forget to catch the morning rush, afternoon rush, and tomorrow Pelusi's Pick'em. And Mr. Saunders, how can they find you?
@Saunders_PGH on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. PGH Steelers Now, sites account, SteelersNow.com. Go there and read the words so I can get paid. Sign up for SN Plus, and you get ad-free words. You get exclusive content like my Notes from the Road column that's up there from yesterday. And our subs only live stream is coming up on Monday for me, with me, DB, and Smitty. And Job's been there before. We usually throw it open to whoever's around Monday at 5. That's happening. So get over to SteelersNow.com. Click on the membership tab in the top right. Get yourself signed up. It's less than $5 a month. And then anyone can like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube channel. We're growing this thing, Joe. We're growing it. It's doing well.
Absolutely.
And the night shift has been a part of it.
Absolutely. And I got to join Pick'em last week. That was a lot of fun. Being down here in Georgia, we don't get to do much sports betting, but it was nice to talk about some of the odds and stuff because I don't get to see that stuff very often. So getting to hear that kind of got me excited. So if you live in Georgia, write to your congressman, something like that. I don't know. All right. You can find me at Joby Football, Jobey Football on X. And for all of us here at Steelers Now, thank you for joining us. And we hope to see you guys next week. And hopefully Rodgers will get that 30-second victory over every NFL franchise. Good night, everyone.